There's so many dates to remember.
I know. I get all the anniversaries,
like kids' birth
May
dates.
14th.
How did we? So we've been married for.
How did you know it was time to get married?
How did we know?
People would say, if you can't sleep, take something to sleep. The Lord has let me sleep just fine.
And I don't know how the executives over at Turning Point USA sleep at night.
Charlie Kirk and Erika Kirk filed for a disillusionment of marriage 2 days before his assassination. There are actual text messages back and forth between Erika and Charlie discussing a separation of assets and how they are going to come out publicly and when the right timing.
So Charlie Kirk's wife, who the day Charlie Kirk was murdered, I said I felt for, I still do, for her and her kids, she's grifting now. Charlie Kirk is worth tens of millions of dollars. That's a fact. That's not an opinion. And his wife is going on social media and asking people for donations and money. What is she doing? Other than grifting, what else would you call that? If you're going to get donations, why wouldn't you use it for something like, I don't know, helping the homeless, doing something about those that are mentally ill, for example? There's so much you could do with these donations and money that can help society. Instead, she's going to be using it for herself. And I say to myself, your husband was worth tens of millions of dollars. Why are you grifting and asking for money before your husband is even 6 feet underneath the ground? I find this distasteful and I find it disgusting.
I will make sure that I don't stay silent. I'll keep speaking the truth.
And in the snake of the ticket line was a guy who looked very familiar. I had no idea who he was. And I told my mom, this guy looks so familiar. And as a typical mother, she said, go and say hi. No, we were late for our flight, and I'm not going to come off like a crazy person that's just weird. That ended up being Charlie.
There are stories that simmer for years, but every so often, a single leak can set the entire internet ablaze. Tonight on Spotlight Vault, we're diving into the viral storm surrounding Charlie Kirk's secret note, a personal confession that's left fans, critics, and even insiders at Turning Point USA questioning everything they thought they knew about Charlie and Erika's marriage. Was Charlie Kirk planning to leave Erika? And what does this note reveal about the power struggles, secrets, and shifting loyalties inside one of America's most watched political movements? Let's start with the moment that changed everything. For years, Charlie and Erika Kirk have been the picture of a power couple, wedding photos, faith-filled speeches, and a carefully curated image of unity. But behind the scenes, things were never as perfect as they seemed. According to new rumors, just days before the incident that changed everything, Charlie's own diary pages surfaced online. The pages suggest he was wrestling with doubts, not just about his marriage, but about Erika's past and her growing influence inside Cusa. By now, you've probably seen the viral TikTok videos and Twitter threads. Some claim Erika was a plant brought into Charlie's life by powerful donors. Others say she was connected to a shadowy elite group, hiding secrets that Charlie was determined to bring to light. But these newly leaked receipts, screenshots, text messages, and that now infamous note are appending everything we thought we knew. Here's what's in the note. Charlie writes about feeling pushed out of his own organization, about decisions being made without me, and about not recognizing the person I married. He questions whether Erika's loyalty is to him or to something bigger. And he wonders, in his own words, if it's time to walk away before I lose myself completely. That line alone has set the internet on fire. But that's not all. Insiders close to Charlie are now speaking out, saying the couple's public image was just that, an image. Behind closed doors, there were arguments, power struggles, and a growing sense that Erika was already acting as CEO before Charlie was even gone. She was giving orders, making executive calls, speaking for the organization in ways that made all of us uncomfortable. One source claims Charlie would try to intervene, and she'd just talk over him like he didn't even matter anymore. And then there's the awkward video, the one where Charlie asks Erika about their wedding day, and she freezes. She can't remember how long they've been married, tries to cover it up with a joke, and the whole moment feels off. Fans have replayed that clip 1,000 times, convinced it's proof that something was wrong long before the rumors started. But the real bombshell is the timeline. According to leaked legal documents, Charlie and Erika had already started the process of separating their assets and discussing how to go public with the split. They'd even sold their Arizona home earlier this year, a move many now see as a sign they were living apart before the incident that changed everything. So what was Erika hiding? And how much did Charlie really know? The internet is full of theories. Some point to Erika's mysterious past, her work in government contracting, her family's connections to Homeland Security, her time as a pageant winner and reality TV star. Others focus on the way she stepped into the spotlight after Charlie's death, taking over TPUSA and reshaping its message almost overnight. And then, there's the question of the list, the sensitive records Charlie fought to make public, but which disappeared from the conversation as soon as Erika took charge. Was Charlie getting too close to something dangerous? Was his marriage just collateral damage in a much bigger game? As the rumors swirl, one thing is clear. The story of Charlie and Erika Kirk is no longer just about love or loss. It's about power, secrets, and the lengths people will go to protect their own interests. And with every new leak, every new note, the truth gets harder to ignore. But the biggest question remains. If Charlie was ready to walk away, what stopped him? And who really benefits from the silence that followed? Let's rewind to the beginning. When Charlie met Erika, he was a rising star in conservative politics, but inexperienced in love. Erika, 5 years older, had already lived what seemed like 10 different lives: Miss America contestant, Trump pageant winner, casting director, Romanian orphanage founder, reality TV star, music video model. She came from a family with deep ties to government contracting, Homeland Security, and the Department of Defense. Her family even received a plaque in Jerusalem for their work on the restoration of the Zion Gate. For many, these details complicate the story and make us wonder if everything Charlie believed in the first place was the whole truth. Their chance meeting in Israel right before TPUSA arranged their first date has become the stuff of internet legend. Was it fate, or was it a carefully planned coincidence? Some say it was just a random moment in a ticket line. Others believe it was part of a larger puzzle, one where nothing is truly random. As rumors of the honeypot theory grew, people began to notice something more important. Erika rarely, if ever, mentioned the issues that Charlie cared deeply about, including the sensitive lists and records he had publicly called for transparency. If Charlie spent so much time talking about the lists that needed to be cleared, why did the issue largely disappear from Erika's messages after he left? Since Charlie's death, Erika has often said she wanted to pick up where he left off, that she wanted to continue telling the truth. But longtime followers sensed something was off. Charlie's message then and Erika's message now were not the same. Some say it's just a difference in style. Others believe it's a difference in goals. And there are many who think Erika is telling a completely new story, one that she controls and no one can argue with. Meanwhile, the internet continues to dig up every little detail. The chance meeting, the planned dates, the topics that Charlie cared about but Erika avoids, and the promise that she will continue the journey of telling the truth while the questions are never answered. So what is the truth? A natural encounter or a pre-planned path? A sincere promise or a new story being rewritten? That question still has no end. Charlie's last public statement was clear. I will make sure that I don't stay silent. I'll keep speaking the truth. But immediately, the bigger question arose. Was Erika really following through? Was she telling the truth about the list that Charlie himself had publicly called for clarification? Charlie did not just mention the list vaguely. He spoke about it clearly, directly, and with determination. He argued that behind everything, behind the rumors, behind the controversial figures, behind the half-truths, there was a deeper, more complex structure that not everyone dared to touch. For Charlie, this was no longer just a media story. It was a web of power that he believed needed to be illuminated. And that's where many people are asking. If that was what Charlie was most passionate about before he left, why did Erika and his successors in TPUSA avoid the subject altogether? If they truly wanted to protect Charlie's legacy, they should have continued the question he started. But the reality is the opposite. Since Charlie's fall, TPUSA has largely been silent on what he once fought for. They have shifted gears, changed priorities, and focused on content that pleased their donors rather than pursuing the truth. And then came the grifting accusations. Charlie Kirk's wife, who the day Charlie Kirk was murdered, was seen asking for donations and money on social media. Critics say, what is she doing other than grifting? What else would you call that? If you're going to get donations, why wouldn't you use it for something like helping the homeless, doing something about those that are mentally ill, for example? Instead, she's going to be using it for herself. And I say to myself, your husband was worth tens of millions of dollars. Why are you grifting and asking for money before your husband is even 6 feet underneath the ground? I find this distasteful, and I find it disgusting. Some feel like Charlie's legacy is being reshaped, not to honor him, but to suit the interests of a few influential individuals within the organization. Some even say that TPUSA is completely remaking its public image, while Charlie's warnings are being pushed aside. The latest example is the Florida branch of TPUSA. which abruptly censored and removed a large number of members from its internal chat group. The official reason given was inappropriate language. But according to the members who were removed, what they did was simply ask the same questions Charlie himself asked when he was alive. Why isn't the list public? What's really going on? Who's controlling the message? If this is a topic Charlie once held dear, why have his successors banned any discussion of it? Longtime observers say there are two possibilities. Possibility 1. Erika truly believes she is protecting Charlie's legacy in her own way by keeping her cool. By avoiding conflicts she deems too dangerous or too sensitive. Possibility 2. There are interests behind the scenes. Interests that Charlie got too close to, and keeping quiet is the safest option for those who continue to run the organization. It's also impossible to ignore the fact that Erika increasingly appears in the public eye as a leader, a spokesperson, a coordinator, as if she were being groomed to take Charlie's place once he's gone. The discrepancy between what Charlie said and what Erika is saying is too great to be overlooked. One side asks questions. One side avoids questions. One side wants to shed light on the entire network. The other side chooses to shut down the conversation. So what's the truth? Who is protecting Charlie's legacy? And who is manipulating it to suit their own interests? That question still hangs in the air unanswered. And this is where Spotlight Vault digs in. Because when the silence gets louder, you know there's something bigger at work. As the days passed, and the leaked note continued to circulate, the internet's obsession with the truth behind Charlie and Erika Kirk only grew. Every new detail, every old video, every cryptic social media post was dissected for hidden meaning. The story was no longer just about a marriage. It had become a case study in power, image, and the way public figures can lose control of their own narrative. The most viral moment came when a former TPUSA staffer, speaking anonymously, described the atmosphere inside the organization in the months before Charlie's death. "It was like walking on eggshells," the source said. Charlie was still technically in charge, but everyone knew Erika was calling the shots. She'd show up to meetings, override decisions, and make it clear that she was the future of TPUSA. If you disagreed, you were out. No questions asked. This revelation sent shockwaves through the community. Was Erika simply stepping up in a time of crisis, or was she orchestrating a takeover long before anyone realized? The leaked note seemed to confirm what many had suspected. Charlie's words, "I don't recognize the person I married," were raw, vulnerable, and deeply unsettling. He wrote about feeling isolated, about losing his voice in the organization he built, and about the growing distance between him and Erika. "I keep asking myself if I'm the problem," he confessed. "But every time I try to talk to her, it's like she's already moved on. She's got her own agenda, her own team, her own vision for TPUSA. I'm just in the way." For fans who had watched the couple's love story unfold on social media and at public events, the note was a gut punch. The image of Charlie and Erika as a united front was shattered. Instead, the world saw a man struggling to hold onto his marriage, his career, and his sense of self, all while the cameras kept rolling. But the internet wasn't content to stop there. Amateur sleuths began digging into Erika's past, uncovering a web of connections that only deepened the mystery. Her family's ties to government contracting, her work with Homeland Security, her time as a pageant winner and reality TV star, all of it was re-examined in light of the leaked note. Was Erika's rise to power a coincidence, or was it part of a larger plan? One theory that gained traction was the so-called honeypot hypothesis, the idea that Erika was placed in Charlie's life by powerful donors or political operatives who wanted to control TPUSA from the inside. Supporters of this theory pointed to the couple's chance meeting in Israel, the rapid escalation of their relationship, and Erika's seamless transition into a leadership role after Charlie's death. "Nothing about this is random," one Reddit user wrote. "It's all too perfect." Meanwhile, others focused on the changes within TPUSA itself. Since Charlie's passing, the organization had shifted its priorities, moving away from the transparency and accountability that Charlie championed. The infamous list, the sensitive records Charlie fought to make public, had disappeared from the conversation. Instead, TPUSA's messaging became more polished, more donor-friendly, and less willing to challenge the status quo. This shift did not go unnoticed. Longtime supporters began to question whether TPUSA was still the organization Charlie had envisioned. "It's like they're erasing him," one former member said. "Everything he cared about, everything he fought for, it's all being swept under the rug. And Erika's at the center of it." The controversy reached a boiling point when Erika accepted the Charlie Kirk Legacy Award at a high-profile event. The moment was supposed to be a tribute to her late husband, but instead, it became a lightning rod for criticism. As Erika took the stage, cameras zoomed in on her face, searching for signs of genuine emotion. But to many viewers, her tears looked rehearsed, her words carefully chosen, her performance too perfect. It was like watching a play. One attendee said. There was no real pain, just a beautiful, staged moment designed to elicit sympathy. People who knew Charlie best were the most vocal. That's not the Erika Charlie loved, said one former colleague. She's changed. She's not the warm, supportive partner he described in his podcasts. She's become someone else, someone who's more interested in power than in honoring Charlie's legacy. As the backlash grew, Erika's defenders pushed back. They argued that she was doing her best in an impossible situation, that she was grieving in her own way, and that the internet was being unfair. Everyone grieves differently, one supporter wrote. Just because she's not falling apart in public doesn't mean she doesn't care. But the critics were relentless. They pointed to the growing list of anomalies: the rapid leadership transition, the disappearance of key staffers, the silencing of dissent within TPUSA, and the organization's new focus on image over substance. It's all about control, one insider claimed. Erika's running the show now, and anyone who gets in her way is out. The debate spilled over into the media, with commentators on both sides weighing in. Some called for a full investigation into TPUSA's finances and decision-making processes. Others demanded that Erika release all relevant documents, including the full text of Charlie's note and any communications related to the leadership transition. Meanwhile, the internet kept digging. Every day brought new revelations, old emails, deleted tweets, and anonymous tips that painted an increasingly complex picture. Some claimed that Charlie had discovered financial irregularities within TPUSA and was preparing to go public before his death. Others suggested that Erika was being manipulated by outside forces, or that she was simply trying to protect herself and her family in a world that had turned against her. The truth, as always, was elusive. But one thing was certain: the story of Charlie and Erika Kirk had become a symbol of the broader struggles within the conservative movement. It was a story about power, loyalty, and the price of ambition. It was about the dangers of putting image above substance, and the risks of trusting the wrong people. As the dust settled, one question remained: what would Charlie want? Would he want his legacy to be defined by scandal and suspicion, or by the values he fought for? Would he want Erika to carry on his work, or to step aside and let others take the lead? And most importantly, would he want the truth to come out, no matter the cost? For now, the answers remain unclear. But the conversation is far from over. As new details continue to emerge, the world will be watching, waiting for the next leak, the next revelation, the next twist in a story that has already changed so many lives. If you want to keep up with the real stories behind the headlines, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Here at Spotlight Vault, we bring you the facts, the drama, and the truth behind the internet's biggest moments. Stay tuned, because this story is far from finished.